I add myself to the screen to the stream, and it helps a lot more. So, guys, I did go ahead and jump on, and I'm going to do another quick live. My computer's not wanting to download videos, so you guys might see me live more than often. I was going through my news feed, and I actually ran across a pretty disturbing um, event going on in Chicago, Illinois. So I want to share this with you guys. Towards the end of these clips is the description of the perpetrator that law enforcement is asking for help in order to find this guy. He attempted to sexually assault an 11-year-old girl on the way to school. So it looks like we got 5 in here. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up the video here. And I'll mute out so it doesn't echo, guys.
Hi, my name is Andre Smith, ANDRE, SMITH, CEO of Chicago Against Violence, also B Facilitator B311, and Vice President for Washington Park Residents. Today we're standing at the school where the 11-year-old girl went to, and she left and went approximately about a block and a half from here. And one of the issues that I have today is that's a block and a half which safe passage workers should have been able to see her if they was out there doing what they were paid to do. As you look down the street, you see all safe passage signs. Whether it's safe passage, whether it's people working on safety, or whatever it is, you should have been out here protecting this young girl. So I'm standing here today because the federal government released a lot of money to nonprofit organizations. And if there's a penny gave to any organization that deal with safety, safe passage, that warrants a federal investigation. So I'm calling on a federal investigation today on who was a part of safe passage, where was safe passage, and why didn't they see the young girl and stop that? If they were out there, it was no way that young girl would have been kidnapped and almost raped. You have to understand that she would never ever see her father the same or hug him the same. Even if she get married, she would never ever have the closeness with her husband because she would always have in her mind what that man did. Also, Obadeli has offered a $2,500 reward. I am giving a $500 reward, and Senator Matty Hunter has offered a $1,000 reward, so a total of $4,000 reward. And hopefully other people will join us so we can get it up to $10,000. This individual must be caught. Now, there's a discrepancy in some of the social media pictures that was on social media. I'm not here to say who's right, who's wrong. I'm saying that an investigation needs to be taking place because if we say that we're going to do something and you're getting paid to do it, it needs to be done. So, on this picture, this is the individual that we're looking for. This is a safe passage worker, which as you can see clearly with a triangle, kids, and safe passage. There's other individuals with safety jackets. Whether they're safe passage workers or not, whether they're safety workers or not, whether they're working with the school or not, I don't know. But one thing need to happen is a thorough investigation need to happen so that there's some accountability. This should have never happened to the 11-year-old girl. So therefore, I'm sure because if one penny of federal money because of the COVID and all this money that was sent to the state from the federal government and to the city that was given to these organizations, if they are responsible, then they need to be held responsible. Any questions?
Andre, what would you expect a federal investigation to find?
Well, if I look at this picture, I'm not saying that they doing safe passage. Would assume to me that that's safe passage or some type of. You cannot get registration, voters registration and petitions first together, and then second, this is across the school that we're standing at. And if they're getting petitions and all of them together, then that means that some of them should have been down the street where the young lady was at. That's against the law.
That's old too.
Do you know that this picture was taken at a time they would have been on the clock for sure?
No, I don't. I went on social media and it was on there September the 7th, and this is the season petition time. As I'm stating again, I don't know exactly if they was safety workers, if they was working with the school or what. But I'm saying I went on social media after the young girl happened. I seen these pictures and they was dated September the 7th and other things. And I mean, this is the school. So it's not for me to say, it's for the investigation to take place.
What kind of communication are you guys having with CPS or no?
Channel 9 reached out to CPS. They said they're going to do an investigation.
Have you talked it over the school?
No, I haven't. Also, we're demanding that resources be given to these students for a crisis because that was their classmate, that was their friend. You don't know what they're going through, so they also might be a fear of themselves.
Yes.
Mental health crisis. They need to put resources in crisis intervention people here tomorrow.
Like they do everywhere else.
So I'm gonna let the the president of Washington Park resident speak, Miss Cecilia Butler. Go ahead. So I'm the vice president, she's the president.
And that's the Washington Park Residents Advocacy Council. So for something like this to happen in our community, especially since we had a good summer, we need to come to the bottom and find out exactly who this person is. And we need all organizations, all groups, everybody to come out and help us find this culprit, because we don't want anything else to happen to anybody else in this neighborhood, because enough happens already. Again, my name is Cecilia Butler, and I'm representing the Washington Park Residents Advocacy Council. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so thank you all for coming out. As I stated, there's a $4,000 reward, and we are doing everything that we can do to catch this victim.
I got a question for you.
You're not news media.
So I can't ask a question?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I want to ask Jennifer Maddox from her Future Ties program. Could you give me a comment on, what your thoughts on this situation?
Sure, thank you. My name is Jennifer Maddox. I'm the Executive Director of Future Ties, and I do have some parents out here that are with me, and we do have a parent safety team that patrol the front of the school, and we help the crossing guard. In this picture here, right here, this is a crossing guard. This is a CPS crossing guard. She's not safe passage. This street here has a lot of traffic with the kids coming back and forth across the street. So we give assistance to the crossing guard to help the crossing guard get the kids back and forth across the street. These pictures here is my team. They took these pictures off of my social media page because we are out trying to register people to vote, but we are not out here trying to collect signatures when we are helping with the safety team. So where he got the pictures were from my safety team, and Andre know me. He could have called me to ask me if we were a part of Safe Passage, and he did not. So I don't know what his intentions were behind that, but that's not what we do. We support 4 schools. We support Fisk, Dulles, Carnegie, and Emmett Till. So we support all 4 schools to make sure that we have parents that are present in front of the schools to make sure that the kids are getting to and from inside of the building. We don't walk children home. We assist them to get to and from inside of the building safely.
Ms. Maddox, do you think that these pictures then confuse the situation?
It does very much so confuse the situation, because it's making it seem as if my team was out here getting petitions when the young lady was being attacked, and that is not true. And I want everybody to know that is not my intention at all. We try to come out here and assist. Where was other community organizations at the time that this incident was happening? Because we're out here every day.
You're a former police officer, you're a retired police officer. Do you think this situation calls for greater police visibility in the area?
Of course it does. We need more assistance and more help with not just the police, but actually other organizations to come out. I saw that Activist was out the other day passing out some flyers. They need to be out every day. His organization needs to be out every day, not just on days where something may happen in the community, but they should be visible all the time. That's the need of the community, not trying to point fingers at people trying to say, where were you at, what you doing, and what you didn't do. How about get out here and help support the community and be a part of the solution so that our young people can get back and forth and home from school. Thank you.
All right, as I stated before, whether you're a safety worker in collaboration with the school, whether you're safe passage, if you get money to make sure our children are safe, then there's some questions that need to be answered. And as earlier, the individual said that they were not getting petitions. Well, clearly here, this is the school, these are the safety workers, these are petitions. Safety workers, these are petitions, and these are registrations. So, I'm calling on an investigation. People can say what they want to, but the picture says 1,000 words.
But you don't know when those pictures were taken.
On the social media site, it says September the 7th, and there's their boss, Jennifer Murdoch, is running for alderman. They work for her. They part of the safety team. Right here across the street, they're getting petitions. Kids are right there. It says September the 1st and the 7th. That's when the season started. We're still in the season. So that's not for me to ask, that's for them to ask.
And you're running for alderman too, right, Andre?
Exactly.
Okay. Here's the picture.
You can build $1 million business, and you don't need my money or anyone else's.
A news alert issued by Chicago police after an 11-year-old girl was dragged into an alley and then sexually abused.
This happened in Washington Park, and Nate Rogers spoke exclusively with the victim's mother. He joins us now live with the details. Nate.
Yeah, that's right, Sal and Anthony. Very disturbing scene here, very disturbing details here. As you just mentioned, we just spoke to the mom, very much shaken up at this time. Her daughter, 11 years old, also shaken up. Look at the video we just shot for you. I want to set the scene for you before you hear from the mom. This happened literally not too far from where the girl lives, but also about 2 blocks away from her school within the last hour or so. We spoke to dozens of parents whose children walk to and from school in this community. Now, according to police, this situation happened yesterday, what they described as an attempted kidnapping. It happened yesterday here at 62nd in Indiana, just around 3:30 p.m. The mom telling us exclusively that as her daughter was coming home, getting ready to literally head into the house, she was approached by this man, a man that she'd never seen before. And here's what the mom explained to me in terms of how this situation happened.
Grabbed her by her mouth, dragged her to the back of here of ComEd, proceeded to take her clothes off. In the middle of him taking her clothes off, his phone rang. He answered it. And she kicked him and took off running. She ran home with her bra on and her school pants, no shoes, no none of that.
Oh my God. As a mom, just hearing what your daughter went through, I don't even have the words.
I feel like crap. I felt like it was my fault because I normally pick her up from school, but yesterday I didn't pick her up.
Now, police were able to put out a very detailed description of the suspect, described as an African-American male, 45 to 60 years old, 5'8" to 5'10", a thin-build, gray hair with a mustache or a goatee. The offender was wearing a black shirt. Apparently, the right sleeve of his shirt was ripped. Black jeans, also a silver belt buckle, and his shoes, apparently some black boots, which apparently were beat up. Now, again, mom telling us her daughter was able to break away from that suspect, or from her attacker, excuse me, as all of this was going on. The mom saying that his phone happened to ring during all of this, and that's how the girl was able to scream and then break away from all this. Again, right now, Chicago police working to track down that suspect. That is the latest here on the city's south side. Nate Rogers, Fox 32, Chicago.
All I remember is walking and feeling somebody grab me from my stomach and my mouth, pulling me backwards.
First tonight, a disturbing
I just got a
assault on a young
compliment
girl
on my
walking home
thumbnail.
from
It
school.
made me feel
Chicago
good.
Police are desperate to track down that attacker.
Nate Rogers spoke exclusively with the victim tonight.
This 11-year-old victim is indeed a fighter and very courageous, wanting to share her story with us. She tells me she'd never met her attacker before, was merely acting on instinct, and did everything she could to break away.
I was just so scared. I didn't know what to do.
An 11-year-old simply trying to get home from school, sexually violated.
I was pushing my hands down when he was pulling it up to get the shirt off. And I was telling him, no, stop, kicking at him, hitting him, everything.
She tells me she was dragged and stripped in an alley near her home. The victim says a man who groped her from behind began taking off his belt, but then his phone rang.
And she said, hello, it's a girl. So I kicked him in his face and got up and ran off and ran home.
Leaving her shoes, shirt, and book bag behind, the girl ran home in her bra. The attack happened Thursday, 3:30 p.m., broad daylight, here in the 6200 block of South Indiana. The victim's mother outraged.
I feel like crap. I felt like it was my fault because I normally pick her up from school, but yesterday I didn't pick her up.
Violence prevention advocates comb the neighborhood as the family believes the attacker may live nearby. He's described as African-American, 45 to 60 years old, between 5'8" and 5'10", a thin build, gray hair, and having a goatee, also wearing a black shirt, black jeans, and black boots.
It's sad. It's very sad, and hopefully the person that did, they need to get caught.
That baby has to grow up and no tell her what type of mainframe that baby's gonna go through.
In the end, the young girl shaken, yet grateful she made it out.
I'm just glad that God saved my life and he had a phone call that saved my life because I was ready to be in that situation or put in that situation.
And again, right now, that attacker is still at large. Police advising parents to now have their children walk in pairs or small groups, and of course, to report any suspicious activity to authorities. Outside Area 3, Chicago Police, Nate Rogers, Fox 32, Chicago.
Best emotional support.
Chicago police continue to search for a man accused of assaulting an 11-year-old girl.
I'm going to pause it here for anybody that wants to screenshot this guy. And this is Fox 32 Chicago. If you want to go to their website, and full credit to the news that I'm using to run this story, I feel that it's important to get this out, considering this happened on Thursday, and as active as I've been able to be at night, I have not seen this in my Twitter feed. I have not seen this in my Facebook feed. Just happened to run across it on my YouTube feed. So this is terrifying. I have a 10-year-old stepdaughter, and I can imagine what this baby's going through. Couldn't imagine.
Activists now offering a reward and calling on the community for help. Elizabeth Matthews has more.
An
after-school crime that has grabbed the attention of many. Now community activists say enough is enough.
No child should feel unsafe.
Leaders outraged over a kidnapping and sexual assault just a block and a half from a Washington Park school.
There should be 1,000 black men looking for this guy that tried to rape this young girl.
Police say this man is accused of nabbing an 11-year-old girl near 62nd in Indiana Thursday afternoon, dragging her into an alley. The victim tells Fox 32 she was fighting back as he was taking her clothes off. Then, she says, his phone rang and she escaped. Activists now offering a $4,000 reward to help solve this crime and find this man.
I want the Chicago Police Department to bring in every sex offender that's in Washington Park in the lineup. Let that baby look at all of them. And if she points out one of them, they should be dealt with.
It happened close to the victim's school, Dulles Elementary, which has a safe passage route. Some wondering where the safe passage workers were last Thursday.
Safe passage workers should have been able to see her if they was out there doing what they were paid to do.
A letter home to school parents discusses the event and safety measures, including, quote, requesting special attention to areas in the vicinity of our school grounds. Also offering students a shoulder to lean on. Quote, if your child voices any concerns or fears regarding the incident, please let us know and we can provide them extra support through crisis and counseling supports. A spokesperson with Chicago Public Schools says that safety for their children in schools is always their top priority. They will continue to work with Chicago police and community leaders to ensure that safety. If you think you know that man in that sketch, call police. At police headquarters, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
Isaiah Factor. I'm actually gonna have to check out to see what this is. He raped me daughter of former music recounts. So yeah, Isaiah Factor, I love him because he does not pull any punches. Isaiah puts it out there right like it was. When was this? This was Thursday of this week, Catherine. And thank you so much for your compliments on my thumbnails. I generally try to make sure my thumbnail is very informative. I try to make sure they're whatever my theme of my video or whatever the live is going on. The one that I did choose for this video, and I appreciate that so much. It's actually one of my most prized thumbnails. And I also have another one that has a smaller child and her arm is up over her eyes to protect her identity. And she has "We're not for sale" written on her arm. And guys, this is terrifying. This is Chicago, and we all know that Chicago is a huge city and it's a scary city. And I have to say that I appreciate these advocates for going out there and being a voice for these kids. I really, really, really do. Like, that's amazing that we have people that are going out there and advocating for these kids like that, especially in these big cities. Sorry for the camera wiggles. But like I said, this will be a short live. I do want people to be able to watch it and not feel like they're engulfed in a long live. I wanted to make sure to include all the clips, the perpetrator or person of interest photo. And guys, please share out this video. I want to say thank you for everybody being here with me for my second live today. If you guys didn't catch my live earlier with Julissa Fuentes, she was found. May she rest in peace. And I do ask, guys, please share this out. This is so important. So important. This little girl is her own hero because the Lord only knows what this man may have done with her if he could get her away from where he had her. See, Catherine says, my daughter went to Columbia College. There was actually transferred to Temple. Not much of an employment because of the violence. My kids were raised in Nashville, Tennessee. And my stepdaughter, when she first went into high school, she had the same boyfriend. They'd been boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time. And he was actually stabbed in the neck with a pair of scissors. And that was in the 5th grade. So, monsters. This is an 11-year-old girl. This is a baby. I have a 10-year-old daughter laying over there taking her after school nap. And I don't know what I would do to somebody. I honestly don't. Right, Mississippi Granny. I agree. Thank goodness his phone rung. And she kicked him. And that's what ours is, she'll tell you. Somebody comes after her, she's kicking them. She's not going to ask questions. But guys, as always, thank you so much for being here. And if you see something, say something. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child. And if you're not already subscribed, please sub up to the channel. I'm almost there, guys. I'm trying to hit that mile marker of 1,000 and get over that hump. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for being amazing and being amazing supporters of the channel and amazing supporters of my Real Crime team. Thank you, Jody. You're awesome. And please, please, please share out this video. We really need people to see that this things happen, and we also need people to see there are advocates out there that are boots on the ground, volunteers, because as I always say, it takes a village to raise a child. And I've decided it takes a community to get justice. Thanks, guys.